You're listening to Snippets from the Summit with your host, Scot McKay.
All right, how's it going, gentlemen? This is your main man, Scot McKay, coming at you again with another Snippet from the Summit as part of the Mountaintop podcast from X&Y Communications. Now, you'll remember last week we talked about how I would give you every advantage over me except one when it comes to attracting women. And of course, that one advantage, in case you missed it, spoiler alert ahead, by the way, if you haven't caught last week's Snippet from the Summit, that one advantage was for me to have masculinity as women define it in my favor. And we talked a lot about how that boils down to safety and security. And that led to my acknowledgement that I need to change one of the big four. Because if masculinity as women define it really just comes down to safety and security as the major linchpin there, well, then that obviates the need for that third pillar as it stands right now of making women feel safe and secure in your presence. Now, truth be told, what I used to say was that masculinity as women define it was the first pillar, then confidence was the second one, then inspiring confidence was the third one before character, because it was kind of an effective play on words to relate inspiring confidence in women to your own confidence. But then I realized the easier and less confusing way to put that was to simply say, make women feel safe and comfortable. So no matter how you slice it, we still have the need for that third pillar of the big four to be replaced. So try this one on for size. Liking women. Yeah, it's that simple. If you want to lock in the big four traits that really attract women, one of them probably should be that you actually like women. Now, what took me 20 years to come up with this? Why wasn't there a big five? Or if you count the period where I was talking about pleasing a woman in the bedroom as part of the big five, then maybe big six, but it'll get a little complicated if we start adding too many. These have to be meaningful. And I believe at this point in history, liking women, as basic as it sounds, almost as if it should be a given for most every man, has got to be one of the pillars of the big four. Why? Because over the course of the past 2 decades, a lot of men have become more and more bitter towards women, more angry at women, and fundamentally just, straight up dislike the gender they're trying to attract. You've got the men going their own way, and I talk about them frequently, and they don't like me. If you're listening to me say these words and you're a guy who's been red-pilled or part of the manosphere or part of that men going their own way movement, although they won't call it a movement just because they're contrary and want to argue, you're probably not going to be pleased by what I'm saying right now. But who cares? If you don't like women, they're not going to like you back. And nowadays, so many men have a problem with that indeed, one of the 4 basic pillars that will cause women to like you and be attracted to you is to like women first. So let's go over this revised Big Four plan for the year 2025 and beyond. 1, confidence, right? If you don't believe women want you, they're not going to believe it either. Second of all, masculinity as women define it. And as we talked about in last week's Snippet from the Summit, it basically comes down to making women feel safe and comfortable in your presence. Third one, liking women. If you don't like them, they're not going to like you. And the fourth one, as always and forevermore, character. If you want a woman long-term who's going to be the right woman for you, she has to match up with you in terms of your core belief system and your desire to be a good man and make the world a better place. If she matches up with you, you have great long-term potential there. So that's the new adjustment to the Big Four, gentlemen. What do you think? If you want to talk about this or anything else, Scot at mountaintoppodcast.com. Be good out there.
As always, visit mountaintoppodcast.com for more.